Hello and welcome back to She Knows. I don't know everything, but I know enough. So let's get into it. We're going to talk about what it looks like to go to school for criminal justice, bachelor's degree or associate's degree. I'm going to be more focusing on a bachelor's degree, but I'm just going to take you through my journey and give some tips about, the things you can go through in college, what it looks like, what it feels like. So, actually, when I started off in college, I didn't have a plan, but I always knew I wanted to go. So I started in a community college, and I started off in a paralegal course, which was very interesting. The paralegal course consisted of understanding, and I'm going to start with the New York State penal law. In different states, laws mean different things. But in New York State, you have the New York State penal law. It's very interesting. It's a lot, actually. So my professor, well, at least one of them, he talked about, a lot about the law, preparing briefs and things of that sort, and how to read the law. He was actually a lawyer for how many years? This was a while ago. He's been a lawyer for a long time. And it was interesting just learning about it. A paralegal does not necessarily do the same thing as a lawyer. They're much more there to assist the lawyer. So that was my path starting off. I actually always, since I was a little girl, wanted to be a judge. So that was the route that I thought that would get me there, but plans changed through the years. It was fun, funny, being in the class. So that can start you off, but that's not necessarily what criminal justice is, even though it's a part of it. So let me continue on. So I did take a couple of classes with learning about a paralegal, but I realized after my second semester that wouldn't fit my lifestyle because my children were still young, and working as a paralegal, your time had to be open. So I left and switched to a teaching profession because I felt like that would fit my lifestyle more. Since my children were still so young. So I started off in a elementary course at Erie Community College, and let me also mention that's where I started off with the paralegal too. So I was at the city campus, Erie Community College, Buffalo, New York. I went through that process. That was fun. I ended up applying and working in the Buffalo Public Schools as a teaching assistant. Let me rewind that back. Actually, no, I got hired as a substitute teacher in a Head Start program. So that's working with ages birth to, I think, 5 years old, if I'm correct. That was fun too, because what you don't understand about little people, and I call them little people, they're very intelligent, and that is the time when their mind can be shaped and molded. So I'm going through this process. I'm going through the elementary teaching course and things of that sort. And I got promoted. I said I started off as a substitute teacher. I ended up getting promoted as a lead teacher in the classroom, creating curriculums, talking to the parents, creating ceremony. It was a lot into it, leading the class. I had assistants at that moment helping me with the classroom, and I can't remember the assistant that I had, but she was good. She was from Haiti, I remember, because I was trying to teach her how to drive. This girl ran up on the curve, and I'm like, I'll never do that again. So that was like why I remembered her. But And then there was another teacher there. The lady, she was a little bit older. She was very beautiful. You know, she was like, had the grandmother energy. And she was there as a substitute teacher. She didn't really want to lead the class or anything like that. You know, she just wanted to be there and make some extra income, which was cool. So I was working in the Buffalo Public Schools. Like I said, eventually I started to work in the Buffalo Public Schools. After I did that, I moved into the Buffalo Public Schools and I applied for a teaching assistant position because I was getting ready to be an elementary school teacher, which I think that is grades. I think it's pre-K to 5th grade. Yes, that's in the elementary class. I think as far as the going to get your degree to be a teacher for that level, you have let me see, grades level, I think 6th through 8th, and that requires a certain concentration and degree. And then you got the high school level. So and that's 9th through 12th. So I didn't necessarily want to work with the high school level. I wasn't interested in that. But so I worked in a class called 611. 611 classes or 211. I think it's even 411. These are individual special education class for children that may have special needs, whether it's mental or physical. And you would have a special education teacher in the class, and it would be maybe like six students in the class, and a teaching assistant as such and myself working with these 6 students or 4 students or 2 students. It depends on how intense the needs are for the students. So the first class that I was in was 211 class. 211. Then I got switched over to a 611 class, and these were 8th graders because I was working in the elementary. Well, let me tell you something. These kids was out of control, basically. And baby, I was like, why am I working here when I could be working with incarcerated youth? Now, this is how off the hook the class was. To every day, the students was fighting other students, sleeping up under the desk. Now, you can't come out your capacity as a teaching assistant when you know these kids is doing wrong. So I happened to look up on the website because I was looking for something else. I'm like, I'd rather go, into corrections or youth corrections. And I end up finding that opportunity at the Erie County Youth Corrections Facility. And so I end up switching my major again. And that's when I moved completely in criminal justice. So that, and I graduated from that. Now, let me say this about when you're going to college. Some people don't stick with their majors that they come in with in the beginning. Sometimes you move around a lot because you're still trying to figure out what you want to do. And as you're taking the degree that you're in, you want to apply it to your life. You just don't want to be in school all that time and not working and putting the experience in. And that's very important when you're getting higher education. You want to make that degree work with you. They have some courses in college where I just don't see, unless you're somewhere in that area where it's a big thing, like ceramic. They had a ceramic bachelor's degree course. I don't know, arts and bachelor's degree. And now I know painting, it definitely can do it. But you have to be practicing that in order to make it a skill, in your life, not just taking the course and going all the way through. So I'm finally back in the field, that I'm in. And in the criminal justice degree, it is broad, basically. You're not just gonna go into this degree and focus on one thing. It's all about the criminal justice system. It's all about the courts. It's about lawyers. It's about paralegals. It's about intelligence. It's about crime, mastermind. So they break it up into different parts. And I put up my old course, or the college department has their own curriculum that they run down and they teach for college students. So I say you, for example, a couple of classes that I took. So this is another thing that's important about college. If you don't know, you have 100 level classes, you have 200 level classes, you have 300 level classes, you have 400 level classes, you have 500 level classes, and 600 level classes. When you start getting into I think the 500, 600 level classes, or is it 600 level or 700 level classes, that's like the master PhD level. The levels for like associate's degree, 100, 200 levels, and then the bachelor's is like the 300, 400 level, and I think maybe even 5, but I'm not sure. But you'll take classes like Introduction to Criminal Justice, and obviously that title, it makes sense because it encompasses the whole criminal justice. That was a 100 level class. I'll give you an example of a 200 level class. Now these 3 that I'm about to mention, they're 200 level, but these 3, they could be offered as a concentration. So you could take a criminal justice course, but you could have a concentrated level. Like you take these particular classes, but you'll have a concentration level in policing or in corrections, things of that sort. So one of the 200 level classes was criminal law, and that class was about the law, but in the criminal level. So say you're going to represent somebody, you're representing them because you know everything about the criminal law, not youth law. You're all about crimes and misdemeanors and burglary and assaults. That's what your concentrated level is in, so you're very familiar about that. Then you have the police process. I was kind of indecisive about having a concentration level in my bachelor's degree. Like I just kept it open because, like I said, I wasn't for sure on what area I wanted to go in because I was in multiple areas at one point in time. So I wasn't for sure. Like I work with youth, and then I was in corrections with the youth, and then, I end up getting into policing, and then you have other things like juvenile justice counselors. Like it's a lot. A 300 level course was probation, parole, and community corrections. That was something I was definitely interested in for a very, very long time, is working as a probation officer or as a parole officer. But it's very hard to find those positions sometimes because they're state positions or they're county positions. And when people get in those type of positions, they don't leave them. They stay in them for a very long time. And it's just very hard to get into those positions. You have to wait for an opening. You may have to take a test, for these things. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles, basically, in that. So these are some of the 400 level courses. So let me see. I'm trying to look at some that I took. It's been a while, so I don't remember all the courses that I took. But you have an advanced administrator in criminal justice. So that can be taught in the way of, administrating, leading the facility. So they have instructional levels on that. Then another 400 level course is the correctional institution and programs. So that will look at what the correctional institution is, how it was established, and the programs that it offers to inmates. And let me correct myself, because I haven't been in that profession in a while, but I don't even think, at least here in New York State, they use the word inmates. It's something else that they use instead of inmates, because they don't use that word anymore. So forgive me for saying that, but it's a different word that they use instead of inmates. I used to know what it was, but I'm gonna have to look that up another time. And a course. So in here, I found one of the courses that I took was this is a 400 level course, Gender and the Administrative of Justice, if I'm saying that right, Administration of Justice. So that course consists of women in the criminal justice system and how they're treated in jail, research and studies on women having birth in jail, being pregnant in jail, the treatment of women in jail. And I was very interested, because I'm a woman, and the things that go on is crazy, least to say. So that is the criminal justice system in its fullty, but it's still so much more that you could do with a criminal justice bachelor's degree, and that's what I have. But like I told you, you want to take your information that you're doing now in college and actually apply it to your life. I applied for the FBI as an intern. That's just an example that could get your foot in the door. Eventually, I wanted to be an intelligence analyst, and that's a person that looks at information as far as maybe another country is spying on the United States, and you have informers that can get you this information, and then you can relay it back to the intelligence part, to prepare for something that is happening with the country that can impact the country. They have a course for that with the FBI, and I think you have to go to Glen Coast, Georgia to take that course, and I think it's like 6 months, and then you could come back to your home town or city to practice what you went there for. So I went through the process with going to the FBI for an internship, and believe me, it was very intense. But I didn't get in because the pandemic happened, and that was really frustrating because I was almost, I was at the end of my last semester with my criminal justice degree. And I really wanted to make what I went through as far as college, I wanted to make it work because it's, I didn't want to be one of those people that went to college and then they ended up as something else, that was not what they did, or they didn't even get any experience. Like they just have a degree, but they work at nothing wrong with this, but a supermarket, that's crazy. I really wanted to practice what I worked so hard for 5 years, really, because I had some gap times in my college. Trying to work and go to school at the same time is very difficult. Even I took 1 year, one semester, 6 classes. I would never suggest that to anybody unless you got the free time, because I was working full time, doing doubles, and 6 classes. Man, I was stressed out. I actually ended up dropping one because I couldn't handle 6 classes. Technically full time is 4 classes. Part time is 2. So what was I thinking? I don't know. I think I was just trying to hurry up and get through the course, but I kind of made my process difficult by taking 6 classes. Man, it's crazy. So I would never do anything like that again. And I would never, tell anybody to do that because, college, depending on what kind of classes you take, some of these professors require you to write 25-page papers. One semester I wrote 125, 114 page, and I think another 20-page paper. And believe me, listen, that's a lot to write when you're working, taking exams and getting prepared to write it. It's also things in there you got to prepare with. I'm trying to think of it. It's called, it's a certain format that college professors want in their paper. I can't think of it right now, but I will catch back up on you. And then when you cite stuff, like meaning you taking somebody else's information, you have to cite that information, meaning give that author credit at the bottom of your page or at the end of the last page. You put them in alphabetical order. So I'm telling you, the process was overwhelming. It was a lot. I think that's why I started to rush and just wanted to get out of college. But I mean, it was worth it in the end. I think I had more fun graduating from Erie Community College than I did with Buff State because I graduated during the pandemic, like right in the middle. So we didn't even have a ceremony. Well, we did, but it was outside. You couldn't really invite people there because obviously we're in the middle of COVID, and we had masks on, and it just was not as fun. Erie Community College was so much fun. It was so many people. I had so much fun graduating from there, and it just was more of a special moment than graduating through the pandemic, which was out of control. And it was very difficult, speaking of that, to do my last semester with because everything went online. And I mean, I felt like the college didn't show any mercy to us as students, as everything was shutting down and people were dying all around us. It became really stressful. One of my closest female friends, Quita, that's my girl, she was going through the same process too, because we actually graduated at the same time. And we both were talking to each other back and forth on all the things we were going through as the pandemic was happening. So, this is just my experience with going through the process of college and then getting a criminal justice bachelor's degree. So I would love to go into more detail, but it takes so much more longer to explain what each individual course means. But I wanted to give you guys a briefing on if that's something you want to do. But just in general, if you want to go to college, take your time, look at the profession that you're going into and research it. Because I was looking at everything, being a police officer, working in corrections, being a parole officer, being a probation officer, working as a lawyer eventually, if that's what I wanted to do, what it would take to do that. And I would have had to stay in school longer if I wanted to be a lawyer. It's much more of a longer process. And I think I probably would have had to do 4 more years. And I'm not saying it's not doable, but you just got to have patience if that's what you want to do and be willing to study and type things out. It's not easy. So, exhaust all of your information and make it work for you. College is not for everybody. Let me say that. College is not for everybody. It requires so much time, so much effort, and so much patience, and you have to be completely focused. You just have to. It's not going to be a lot of time to like be around friends and, if you have a family, they could be there, but you still need that personal study time to get your work done. Because like I said, if you're doing 4 classes, 4 classes is a lot. That's 4 subjects you got to focus on. That's 4 books you may have to read, or 4 audiobooks you may have to listen to, or 4 papers you may have to write. I'm literally individual, but you might have to write for these 4 classes, 20 papers, 20 pages there, and 15 pages there, and 20 more pages to that one, and 15 more pages. I mean, like, it can get like that. Because some of these professors, they want a lot. I'm telling you. So, you just got to be prepared to put that work in. But I'm not saying it's not doable. It can definitely be done. Also, when you get up into the master's degree level, because I was going to get my master's degree, I just changed my mind because it wasn't the right time to do it, because I end up going to the police academy, and I had refused to be doing a master's degree while I'm in the academy. That would have been out of control. Yeah, because like I said before, I wasn't for sure, if this degree was going to work out the way I wanted it to work out for myself. Well, fortunately, it did. Because to get into the Metropolitan Police Department, you need 60 credits or a bachelor's degree. They're not even going to let you in unless you got that. So it worked out in my favor for me. Yeah. But like I said before, if you're interested in getting a criminal justice bachelor's degree, please do your research. Please start focusing in on what area works for you. What area fits you. Because like I said before, you even have the area with juvenile justice, and you can have that degree help you get more financially stable, get promoted. People do look at that as a great accomplishment because they see that you took the time out to study the area that you want to have expertise in. And that's very important, to be able to have those skills to bring forth to the profession that you're in. That's it. That is it today. I thank you for everyone listening today and just taking the time out, to hear me out on this. And also share this with your family members, people that's interested in going to college and just having a perspective as such as mine to listen to. It's very important. So once again, thank you for listening to She Knows. I don't know everything, but I know enough.